Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me here on the live this evening. How are you all doing? You know what? Do you know what happened to me? This is a true story. Literally, like just before I was to come on live, I was drinking some water, this water, and you know what? It went down the wrong hole. So I was literally having a coughing fit. Thank God it wasn't when I was live. Oh my God, I think I would have cried. I actually, I would have been so embarrassed. But literally, I was just like, oh my God, I need to just like be careful. Anyway, guys, how are you all doing? Where are you all from? You know, I like to know. So how has your week been? Do you know what? I have been so cold. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I just feel the cold. I think I talk about this all the time. You know, I just can't, I don't think I can deal with the cold. Hello, Daniel. I'm all right, thank you. How are you? So, yeah, today, guys. Hello, Cherie. So today we're talking about the spying and the watching. Amanda from Sweden, hello. Paddy from Edinburgh. It's probably colder over there, isn't it? Yeah. Hello, Sarah. Yeah, so we're talking about the stalking, about the watching. God, it's so weird, don't you think? It's so weird that they do that. Yeah, me too, Sarah. I hate the cold. Oh my God, Las Vegas, Chanel. Do you know, I went to Las Vegas. I've been there and I think it's such a cool place. I was about 19 at the time when I went. So I had to go into the casinos with my parents and my sister, which was a bit boring, but it was so good. Do you know what? When I was in Vegas, we went, I don't know if that ride is still there. It was that one, it was called the Paris ride. And what it did is it was like this roller coaster ride and it was on top of a casino. So when you went down, you felt like you were going to fall off the edge. It was mad. It was brilliant. I loved that. So yes. 11 degrees in Edinburgh right now, Paddy. I think it's the same here. It's still freezing. It's too cold. It's the wind. I think for me, it's the wind and it's raining. I had to drive on the motorway today and the rain was just insane. Anyway, so today, guys, we're talking about, yeah, the spying and the watching. Do you know that it's only in these toxic relationships that this happens? Like, you know, when you break up with someone who maybe isn't so toxic or narcissistic, you know, they just go, they just leave, and it is what it is. They accept the end of that relationship, and you kind of go your separate ways, but not in a narcissistic relationship. Isn't it weird, guys? Don't you think it's weird? I don't know. Like, I think this phenomenon is a very strange one, but we're going to talk about it. There is a reason for it, and I do know the answer, and I will talk about it. But you know, I just wanted to say that you guys are not alone. Like, if you have ever thought why they do this, why this happens, this, like, well, I'm going to talk about it. Sarah, yes, this was such a good, like, honestly, this ride was amazing. I love going to fun fair rides. Like, I love the, you know, like the adrenaline rush. I do. That is one of my things. I do really enjoy it. So yeah, but this one was crazy. Like, you actually felt, I think me and my sister were like holding on to each other. We were so scared, but it was so good at the same time. Yes, that was fun. That was a lot of fun, that trip. We went to the Grand Canyon as well, which was amazing. Amazing trip that we had. So, have any of you ever experienced the stalking or the watching, perhaps online, or, you know, like maybe they have actually even turned up in front of you, like, I don't know, places where you work, where you hang out, maybe at your home. Has that ever happened? Because usually, like, the stalking when they turn up in person is a bit rare, but nevertheless, it does happen. Usually they do like to be covert. They don't want you to know that they are watching. So they create these fake accounts on social media. Usually it is social media. Or maybe they might even email you. Maybe they might even call you, but that's quite brave of them if they do that. Well, you got to understand that with them, they need to do everything so it's hidden, all right, so that you don't know. They think that you guys are stupid and that you are not clever enough to figure them out. But when you really think about it, who else is it going to be? Who else is going to do that? But one thing I will say to you guys is don't overanalyze this. Don't overthink this. And I'm not saying this so that you guys are scared, thinking that there's someone watching your house or watching you get into your car or going places. You know, it's tend to be done more, you know, like on social media, so where it's more covert, so that you don't know that it's them. That's usually what happens. But have any of you ever experienced that? Laurie says he's driven by my house and we live 3 hours apart. Oh, wow. That's crazy. And you caught him. You saw him. Joshua says, I already know because my phone is audio hacked. Yeah, they hack phones. This is something that happened to me as well. So I completely know how you feel with that. Yeah, so this is the different ways that they do it. Sean, is it your birthday? Happy birthday, Sean. So yeah, they do these very strange things that just probably you wouldn't even think of doing. You probably wouldn't have, like, it's not something that you would ever do. Like, you'd probably cringe kind of thinking about it, you know, like, like things that you just wouldn't do it. And it's funny as well how they get in contact if they do at certain times of the year. Usually when it's a significant day for you, or it is like a birthday or an anniversary, sometimes they'll get in contact. You know, love the Christmas one. Christmas, or, you know, Easter, or any other holidays, like religious holidays that like maybe you guys celebrate, like Ramadan or Hanukkah. You know, I don't know all of them. Sean, happy 40th. 40 years young. That's amazing. We're all going around to yours, Sean, for a party. So, you know, this is what they do. It's just it's a very creepy thing, and it's very hard for us to understand. But one of the main reasons why they do this is because of the attachment disorder. And it is as simple as that. Okay, they can't attach onto you in a healthy way. Think about it. Like when you're in this relationship with them, they can't connect to you in a healthy way. So the relationship is always very strange. It's always you having to put the effort in. It's always you having to try and fix something. You know, like it's your responsibility all the time, and nothing that you do is ever right. And you see, you end up losing yourself in this dynamic. You end up being like their parent, their caregiver, you know, and it's not really a relationship. Like, how can it be? You can't even be yourself. All of the strange behavior, all of the things that they do, you can't even be yourself. So if you look at it like that, then when they leave, or you leave, doesn't matter who, they can't detach from you. Because of this attachment disorder, they can't attach in a healthy way, but they can't also detach in a healthy way. This is the problem that really plagues this disorder. You know, when they come back, it's not because, you know, they've realized the error of their ways, and, you know, and they're like, oh, I'm really sorry, you know, I want to get back with you, blah, blah, blah. It's not that they want this relationship with you, it's because of this supply, it's because of this attention, because of your compassion, your kindness, all of these things. This is what they are looking for. It's not the fact that, they have changed. So the fact that they watch you, they want to know a few things. They want to know whether you are doing better than them. Ultimately, that is the main one. They want to know what you are doing, because you're not allowed to live your life without them. You have to be bound to them. And the reason why they think that is because they think that you're their property. They think, my friends, they think that you belong to them. Now, isn't that a very strange way of seeing things, isn't it? It's a very, very strange way of attaching and seeing things, because they don't understand that people have free will. People have their own way of doing things. They don't understand that people have their own way of thinking about things. They think that they have to hijack. Free falling says you become what the narc wants you to be, not your true self. Yeah. So in that, what happens is that you become amalgamated into them. You become them because they make that happen. You see the world through their eyes, because ultimately that's the control. That's the manipulation. They want you to be who they want you to be. They want you to take care of them. And in that, you see the way that they think. You see the way that they function. And you have a window into their world. Like, what is going on? Why they think like that? Why is this happening? And that's ultimately it. Like, when you come out of these relationships, you're like you're not yourself. You've lost yourself. You feel very down. You're depressed. Really depressed. Anxiety is high. You don't even recognize yourself. And the reason for that is because they hijack you. They take so much from you. Things that you are not willing to give, your time, your energy, your kindness, your compassion, your emotional value. They take it because they believe that it belongs to them. So it's kind of like what I said, they hijack you. And so when you leave these dynamics, when you leave these relationships, it's just like the worst. It leaves you so confused that you don't even know what the hell is going on. A lot of my clients said that they had felt quite suicidal after these relationships had ended, because they didn't have the answers. They don't understand why this has happened. And if any of you have ever felt like this, please know that you're not alone. That there are a lot of people who have felt like this, because you're just trying to kind of like piece together, what's happened, what's going on. And in a way, I know this is probably going to sound weird, but it's okay. Like, it's a normal part of the process. Yes, to feel so depressed, so sad, suicidal. Obviously, there's no suicidal intent, but it's just that you have these thoughts and you think, oh my goodness, like, what am I going to do? So that's why you don't feel yourself. That's why you don't understand what has happened. And it's very odd that you're never, and I think a big part of it that's very odd is like you're not given closure, so you don't understand what has happened. I think if there was closure, I think if the answers were there, like, it would be so much easier for you to kind of move on, for you to be able to piece the pieces together and understand that actually, do you know what? This is what's happened. Okay, we've talked about it and now we're going to go our separate ways. This is what usually happens in healthy relationships. Like, the two people discuss, like, what's going on, what's not working, see if they can make it work. And then you decide what happens next. But not in this situation, as all of you know. So the stalking, the watching, is to see what you are up to, what you are doing. And as like some of you have given examples, they'll do a drive-by, they'll turn up, and they'll want to know what you're doing. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to see. But they'll do this in covert ways. They'll do this in a way that they know. They will make up their own mind as to what's going on. But I don't want you to feel afraid. I don't want you to feel like, you know, are they watching me? Are they always going to do this? Are they always going to, you know, like stalk me and watch me? You know, probably at like the beginning of the relationship, like the ending of the relationship, I would say that this will be more intense. Even though they have left, and maybe even though they are with somebody new, they'll still watch. They'll still watch. And it's because it's all so fresh, it's all so raw at the beginning. So they want to know, what are they up to? What are they doing? I think for them, the worst thing would be is if you were to move on and be with someone new. They can't take this. Because again, it's about you belonging to them. It's about them owning you. And the reason why they think that is because they objectify people. They see people as objects. And so when you see somebody as an object, you don't ever really connect to them. You don't ever really have that deep connection, that deep and meaningful connection with that person, because they think you belong to me. I can do what I want because we're in this relationship together. I'm going to do what I want. So that's why they do it, because it's their entitlement. The way that they think is like, this person is mine. I own them. And I can do whatever I want. So that's why they think, oh, I'm just gonna drive by. I'm just gonna see what they're up to. And it's all done, like I said, in really sly ways. You know, they'll make up fake accounts to watch what you're doing. And it is intimidating. It is really intimidating. I remember one of my clients, she had said to me that she really felt that this narcissist ex was watching her, and it really interrupted her life because she felt really anxious. She felt like she couldn't leave her house because this guy was just watching her all the time. And I think that was the saddest part of it. Like, she couldn't leave her house. She couldn't leave her home. So she was stuck, you know, in her house. And I felt like, what could this person actually do? Could they attack? Could they do anything? But the thing is, they won't do that because they don't want to be caught. They don't want problems. They don't even want you to know what's going on. So that's why they do it in hidden ways. They don't want anyone to see them because they don't want you to know that they are watching you. It's actually embarrassing, isn't it? Like, if you think about it, why is this person still watching? Why is this person still calling me, emailing me? Why are they there? Why are they still walking past? You know, and this client, she was so scared. But when we talked about it, and I said to her, look, like, what is this person actually going to do to you? Are they going to attack you? And, you know, she said, no, they won't. They won't do that. It's just the fact that someone is watching me. And I said to her, look, you can't let this person interrupt your daily life, your daily function, because that person is still getting to you. And that's the problem, is that you mustn't let this person get to you. You know, you've spent a lot of time already allowing this person, you know, into your life, letting them affect you, change the way that you think, making you feel so depressed and anxious even when they are not there, like at the end of the relationship. It's already too much. It's already enough. So I said to her, just start going out. If it means that it makes you feel better going out really early in the morning when he's not watching you, then do that. But that's the thing, guys. Narcissists will want to interrupt your life. And the reason why they do that is because they want to know that you still care. They want to know that they're still having an effect on you. And that's the whole thing. They just want to know that they are having an effect on you. They want to know whether you still care, whether you still notice them, whether you still give them attention. And it's all part of this attachment disorder. That's what it does. And you know where it stems from? Like all things do. But before I tell you, please hit that like button. Oh my God, guys, if you are enjoying this so far, please hit the like button because it will really help me out. And you know why it helps me out? Because this information can get out there to more people who are going through this. So the reason why they have this attachment disorder, it all stems from childhood, like everything does. Everything does. When they were children, they weren't really seen. They were really actually ignored. And so they were quite abandoned as children, rejected. And this is quite traumatic for a child, to know that your parent abandons you, rejects you. You don't feel good in yourself. Well, that narcissistic child wouldn't have. And so what you do is you try and become the thing that your parents want you to be. And so you lose a part of yourself. The narcissist loses their real selves because of this abandonment, because of this rejection. This is such intense trauma. And for a child to go through trauma in childhood is very detrimental, because up until the ages of 15 and upwards, your adolescence, this is where, you're forming your understanding of yourself. You're making sense of yourself. And usually this trauma happens around 7, maybe earlier. But it's different for everybody. So I'm not stereotyping here. So when the trauma is happening for the child, the neural pathways within the brain are being interrupted. And when they're interrupted, it means that the neural pathway can't grow in a healthy way. It almost like there's blocks that happen. And so the neural pathway has to kind of work its way round the blocks. This takes time, this takes energy, which is why you'll find that they are emotionally immature, because their emotional side hasn't developed. Their cognitive emotional side hasn't developed in the same way that others have. So this is why they have deficits in understanding perceptions of others. When the maladaptive neural pathways are forming, the information isn't getting through in the correct way. So one synapse cannot communicate to another synapse and get the messages across, which is why they behave in the way that they do, which is why they act in the way that they do. Can you see, their behavior is weird, is strange, is different, isn't it, to the way that we would behave, the way that we would understand a certain situation. It's because of these blocks, trauma blocks. Trauma keeps you stuck. And as a child, when this is happening to you, you don't really understand it. You don't understand that this is happening because you can't communicate it. Because as a child, how can they communicate trauma? You can't. It's only as you reach adulthood that you are able to verbalize what's happened, because you have a level of understanding, a level of emotional maturity. So going back to when this trauma is happening to the narcissist as a child, it's almost as though they reject themselves and they create this new identity, this new person, in a bid to try and get that love, that attention from their parent. So they will mirror their parents. They will manipulate the situation so that it works out in their favor. They will obsess over their parents. They'll put them on a pedestal. just so that they can get the attention of their parents or their parent. And so also, when you've experienced this amount of trauma in childhood, you don't really have empathy because you disconnect from yourself. Because when you're experiencing trauma, that's what the body does. It disconnects. Because the body doesn't want to feel hurt. The body doesn't want to feel upset and in pain. So we take the path of least resistance. We disconnect. So when you're disconnected, you don't feel. And ultimately, that's what happens with the narcissist. That's when they reject themselves. Sorry, I know I'm going all psychological here. That's when they reject themselves. So can you see how these behaviors are repeated in adulthood? Because nobody corrects it. Nobody tells them like, hey, do you know what? This is a bit strange. Like, you need to change this. Nobody does that. A lot of them are not diagnosed with the disorder. A lot of them go around in their lives and just continue to hurt people. And that's right, Joshua. That's why they do live in a fantasy world, because their perceptions, their understanding of the real world isn't the same as ours. They think it is. They really do think it is. They try and make you believe that you're the one that's in the wrong. But really, it's their distortion, not yours. Which is why when you come out of these relationships, you are not yourself. You are not you. It takes time for you to work yourself back to yourself, if that makes sense. So this is why I always say, you need to connect back to yourself. You really need to not worry about what anyone else is thinking, not worry about, what that person's doing, that one's not doing. And again, like a lot of my clients are like, oh, I'm this and this age and look where I am, where I am in my life. It doesn't matter about age. It doesn't matter about any of those things. It's about where you are, and it's about you connecting back to yourself, because that is the thing that is always going to save you. That is the only thing that is always going to make you feel whole, because you are never going to let yourself down. You are not going to make yourself feel rejected. Connection back to self is really important, because you need to access that internal wisdom that you have already within you. When you shut that out, you know that it's wrong. This is why you feel worse for doing that. This is why you feel the anxiety, this is why you feel depression, because that you're not accessing yourself. You already have the answers within you. What I'm saying here is you already know this. You have to trust yourself. Each and every one of us have got intuition, some more than others, because those people care to listen to it. And you have to, this is what is going to save your life. Your intuition, your gut feeling, that feeling that you get. That feeling that you got when you were with this person. You knew that they weren't okay. You knew that something was a bit off, but you couldn't put your finger on it, or you couldn't you couldn't explain it. Each and every one of us knew, but it's not because, we were stupid enough or we ignored it or anything like that. We just didn't know how to explain it. So we need to forgive ourselves for that, first and foremost. And make a promise to ourselves by connecting back to ourselves, to our root, to who we are. My membership is all about that. That's what I talk about in the mentorship, to help each and every one of us connect back to that. And this week we were kind of looking at is finding purpose. Finding our own purpose. So when you find your own purpose in your life, you have a goal, you have a path, you know where you want to go. But when you are lost, like narcissistic people usually are, when you're lost, you don't know which direction to take. You don't know where you want to go, because you don't know yourself. You don't know you. And that's why I'm saying you need to connect. That is what is important. What can you start doing today that will help you to listen to you? Do you go for walks? That's one way. And not to think about everything else, that chatter in your mind, like, silence that a bit. Listen to what you are saying to you. Like when I was just thinking this, I was thinking of Alfie, actually, the dog. And he's not here with me. He's at my parents', so there's no snoring. Oh my God. I don't know if any of you noticed the last 2 videos, he was snoring and it picked up on the audio. And I didn't realize only until the end, obviously when I was editing it, I felt so bad. Like a few people did notice. But he was so clingy to me, like he would not leave my side. And so when I was filming, he had to be next to me, and then he fell asleep. And then obviously I was in my flow talking, and yeah, and then he was snoring, and I just was like, oh my God, Alfie, please stop. So anyway, like pets are very much, they're very much in the moment, aren't they? They always, like when they meet another dog, when they're not sure of the other dog, they just stop and pause, and they just watch the other dog, what they're doing. I don't know if any of you have pets. Do any of you have pets? I know some of you do. Yeah, so they just stop and stare at each other, and I get really nervous, only because when Alfie was a puppy, he got really badly bitten. Like he got attacked by this other dog. It's because it was territorial. Alfie was about 7 months old, and I was in the park, and this dog was very territorial. It belonged to an addict, and she was obviously waiting to score. And so she let the dog off the lead, which you're not meant to. Anyway, because Alfie was really young at the time, it really scared me, because the other dog got him and bit him on his neck, and there was a lot of blood everywhere, And I was like, oh my God, my dog, my puppy is dead. Like, because my Alfie didn't move. And every time I was kind of like pulling the lead, because the other dog was like, shaking its head and pulling Alfie away, I was trying to like grab onto the dog, and I actually thought the dog was dead. And this man, I think he was like a personal trainer, he had like a client in the park, and he run over, and I know this is really bad, but he kicked the other dog, because as I was pulling the dog, I was pulling Alfie up, the other dog had like its neck, like his teeth attached to Alfie's neck. So I'm pulling up both of the dogs, and I'm like, I was like really panicking, because I couldn't separate the dogs. And yeah, and this guy run over, kicked the other dog, and saved Alfie, actually. Oh my God, I remember that day, but it was so bad. So that's why I get like a little bit nervous when I see Alfie with other dogs. I get worried, like what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know if I could kick another dog, but anyway, it's what I'm trying to say is that the dogs psych themselves out. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you so much, Sarah. Bless you. Thank you. They psych themselves out. Like they listen to their intuition. They listen to, like, they're trying to work out what's going on here. And I think we should also not try and psych other people out or other dogs. What I'm saying is that we need to be more mindful. We need to be more, in our own energy, in our own selves. Like that, yes, maybe we do need to psych other people out. Maybe we do need to work other people out. But the only way that you're going to do that is time. The only other way, like I know that a lot of you are probably dating after the narcissist, and like a lot of you are starting to go on dates, starting to meet other people. But look, this is what I mean. You have to take your time. That is the only thing that is going to help you, is if you're taking your time to understand your needs, really connecting to you, understanding what's going on in this connection with other people. Because look, our lives, you're not going to be alone for the rest of your life. You're going to be meeting other people, whether that's in a romantic sense, or whether that's friendships, or whether that's within work. Like you're going to be meeting people. So you need to use your own discernment. You need to be aware. like what's going on, like what is happening, you know, with other people. Because that is what is important. When you're connected to yourself, you trust yourself. You know that you're not going to get this wrong. You know that what you're thinking is absolutely right. And it's not the fact that you have to argue and get your point of view across. No, you keep that to yourself. Not everyone needs to know everything. You've got to keep things to yourself. Because as you know, when people know too much, they use that information against you. And it's important for you to protect you. So using different practices, you know, to help you connect back to yourself, you know, like meditation, like journaling. You know, I have the journal club as well, which I post different prompts every week, every Monday. This week, for example, was about self-sabotage. How many of us self-sabotage what we do because we just put ourselves down? Again, can you see? Most of us have negative narratives about ourselves. We put ourselves down because we feel like, oh, either we don't deserve it, or we don't think we should have that, or I don't think we should be doing this, or you don't deserve to have this. No, you do. You do. And so when we sabotage that, we're putting negative spin on things. So we're always seeing things in a negative. And you know as well as I do, if that's what you're saying to yourself all the time, then you're going to make more of that happen. You're going to manifest more of it coming in. Why would you want that? So it's about really changing, you know, how you're thinking about things, really how you're seeing things, the perspective. Remember, everything in life is about perspective. Is your cup half empty or half full? As that good old English saying goes, you know? Thank you, Free Falling. Thank you so much. Anushka, thank you so much for your time and everything you do to each and every one of us. You are so, oh, bless you. Thank you, Free Falling. I'm so glad. Thank you. I appreciate that. Really, I do. Oh, Midnight Blue, I love that. Pets will love you unconditionally, not a narcissist. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. That needs to be made into a t-shirt. But yeah, you know, like, guys, you really have to change that narrative in the way that you really have to change that narrative in the way that you speak to yourself. And it's not about being selfish. It's not about telling yourself false truths. No, it's about celebrating what you already have, what you've got, who you are, where you've come from, how far you have come. It's really about looking at that. It is, Joshua. It's all about rewiring your brain and your thoughts. You create reality. You do, because you do manifest. You don't understand how powerful our brains actually are, how powerful our thoughts are. But you know what? You are in control of your thoughts. Your thoughts don't control you. So like, for example, when you are feeling sad or when you're feeling angry or upset, you know, you're always thinking, oh, this person, this, oh, that's happened, this has happened, you know, like you're thinking all these negative thoughts and you're making these judgments about people. You're thinking this, you're thinking that's not going to happen. Like, this is not going to happen to me because I don't deserve it. There's nothing good ever happens to me. Like, blah, 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 you know, and you're in this spiral, thinking. And, you know, like, you're just bringing more of that because that's what you're thinking. That's what your belief is at that time, that actually you don't deserve anything good because nothing good can come to you because you don't deserve it. See, that is the perspective at that time. So how about you change it and think, reverse it. That's all you got to do. You just got to reverse it and just think, actually, I do deserve it. Good things do happen to me. Maybe it's not happening right now, but good things do happen to me. So it's about changing the narrative, because remember, like, I know I've talked about this in the lives. I know I have. You know, like neuro-linguistic programming, your ears are always listening. Your brain is always decoding information. So it's always happening. It's always 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There isn't an off switch. Even when you're asleep, your brain is still working. It's in theta mode, which is like long sound waves or long waves, because you're sleeping, but your brain is always working. It doesn't switch off. So if that is your narrative in your conscious, that is the narrative that's going to be in your subconscious. And your subconscious is at play, in the night. It's making sense of everything that has happened during the day. So it's kind of like it's been recorded what's happened in the day, and your brain is making sense of it. So it's really important for you to change the way that you think, to change the way that you see yourself, the way that you perceive things. Do you know how powerful you actually are? You have the ability to create the life that you want, the life that you want to live. You have the ability to create how you want to feel as well. So tell me that is not special. I think that's amazing. I think that's an amazing gift that each and every one of us have. So I've got to read this out, Sarah. Does your brain ache from being so smart? Bless you. I'm not smart. Do you know what? This is all the information that I've read, and you guys can read this too. Like, you can access this information too. Sean, I want to talk about dreams. Yeah, we do. I think all of us have weird dreams, but I will talk about that more. But thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. But yeah, like, look, that is the perspective that we've got to take. Like, we can't look at this and think, oh my God, this has happened. Like, you only have one life, and it's your life for the taking. And I think I wrote something about the post that I posted today on YouTube and on Instagram, on Facebook. It's about that. Like, you have one life, and it's your life, all right? It's nobody else's. No one else is going to make it for you. No one else is going to live your life for you. And it's like what I always say, I wish I could help you guys, like, change your perspective, change the way that you're thinking, but I can't do that for you. I can give you, like, ideas and tips and suggestions and things like that, but I can't do it for you. I really wish that I could. I really wish that do this and do that and that will work. But it doesn't work like that. You have to do it for you. You have to change it for you, because do you know what? It's your life. And you only have one life. And it's this experience that you have. How are you going to make it amazing? Because you know what? Life can be amazing. Life can be so wonderful. And I know when I've said this before, like, a lot of you have said, yes, but I have debt and I don't live in the place where I want to live. Do you know what? Neither do I. But you just have to make the best of it right now and know that nothing lasts forever. Nothing is forever. You just got to make it at that time. What's going on for you? Sorry, I have to readjust again my uncomfortable chair. So you've got to make your life work for you. Nobody has an ideal situation. Nobody has the ideal perfect life. Not even millionaires that live in Bel Air in their mansions. They don't. Believe me, they don't. No one's situation is ideal. Everyone is always wanting different or wanting more. But that's not wrong for wanting that. You have to... Papa says, when are you moving to Bali? Do you know what? I am going to Bali for New Year's. That's what I'm doing, Papa. I am coming to Bali for New Year's. That is what I'm doing. So when I go there for New Year's, I think I'll probably end up staying there forever. I don't think I'm coming back. If they have Wi-Fi there, then great. We could do the lives. But look, like I said, no one's life is perfect. But we can make it the best possible version that we can. And you know what? Each and every one of us has the ability to be able to do that. Like, please don't think, again, guys, do not think that you are a victim and you've just got to stay in this reality. We just got to work towards something. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much. So your question is, if you gave your partner the best you have and it's not enough, it never will be. Time to move on. Daniel, yes. Yes. You tried your best. You gave that person everything and they didn't recognize it or they didn't appreciate it. Enough's enough. That's how you've got to see it. Like, you can't, you're not a martyr. You don't need to be giving, people over and above. Like, in a relationship, it has to be 50-50, all right? Not 60-40 or 80-20. That's not going to work. You can't be the one that's giving all the time. because you want something back too. And it's not wrong to want something back. It's just, that's how relationships work. It's got to be 50-50. It can't just be, unfair. So, Daniel, what I would say to you is this. I know it's going to be really hard for you at first to detach from this person, but you need to start by emotionally detaching, like day by day. And that's it. Like if this person can't recognize and appreciate everything that you have done, you deserve better. You deserve more. And I'm sure that your inner voice, your gut feeling is saying, go. So you know what the right answer to that is. You know what the right move to that is. So, God, what was I saying? Yeah, like it's about how it's your perspective on your life. And that's what you've got to look at this as, is your perspective. How do you make it a positive one for you? What can you do to change your situation? How do you work towards something? There's so many things that you can do. We are all very creative. Because that's what we do. We are creative people. We create, we don't destroy. Narcissists destroy. So think about that. Think about the perspective that you have on your life. Maybe make some notes. Think about what you can do to change it. Like if you don't like some aspect of it, then do something to change it, because you are in control. You have the power. It's your life. You can do anything that you want. Do you know, I've got to say, well, I'll give you an example, another true story. Okay, so I remember when I was doing my first degree. My first degree was in public relations and advertising. And I had a wonderful time at uni studying that. But I just knew, I thought to myself, this isn't what I want to do. Like, this really isn't what I want to do. But let's just see where this goes. So I had a great time working in PR in London, and met a lot of famous people, went to a lot of these parties and everything. It was just great. I was really young at the time. I must have been about, 19, 20, something like 21, something like that. And great time. Anyway, I just knew that wasn't something that I wanted to do. And it was only like later that I realized I want to do psychology. I actually want to do psychology. I want to be a psychologist. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I don't think I can. Like, because the qualifications that I have was a bachelor's of art. Now I have to change it into a bachelor's of science. Like, how am I going to do that? That's going to take time. I don't want to go and study anymore, like blah, blah, blah. And I just kept saying to myself, I can't do it. I can't do it. I just stick with this job. I just do this. And at the time I was working in finance. So it wasn't even in PR. It was in finance. But again, I really enjoyed it. Really so much fun. But that was it. Those jobs were all fun. It was just, nothing was challenging me. So I actually got bored of it. It got boring going out all the time. It got boring having to socialize all the time. I don't know if any of you got jobs like this, but over time, it was just like, I really don't want to do this anymore. So that's when I decided. Yes, Sarah, 6 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. So I thought, yeah, no, I'm really going to do this. I'm going to become a psychologist. But then when I realized, like, oh my God, I need to study for like 7-8 years. Who's got time for that? I need to just get on with my life. But you know what I did? I had to do it. I had to change my bachelor's of arts into a bachelor's of science. Then I did my master's. Then I was doing my doctorate. It just took ages. Lots of studying, not going out, reading, head in books. But it was good. Like, I did enjoy it some of the time. I used to write my essays like literally in the morning. Like, it used to be from like 12. I don't know why, but I couldn't write during the day. It had to be like after 12 o'clock. So I remember I used to stay up till like 4 or 5 o'clock just writing. I guess because the house was quiet, and yeah, that's how I did it. But when you put your mind to something, you can do anything. You can become anything that you want. Look, I never thought that I would be here talking to you guys, because honestly, I was so shy. Another true story, guys, another true story. Okay, so sorry, the stories are coming out tonight, guys, but I'm just giving you these as examples because actually you can do anything that you want. Right. So when I was doing my doctorate, we had to give lectures. We had to give like synopsis of things that we had learnt, because it helped when we are then going to be giving, you know, lectures and things like that, because it was, some of it was like, you know, talk programs, PhD kind of based. Anyway, so I remember when I had to give a talk, and I used to think to myself, they're going to think I'm a fraud. I'm going to be like, they're going to think what I'm saying is absolute crap. They're going to know all of this, and they're going to know that I didn't read it and that I haven't learned it. Oh, is it not good? Can you not hear me, guys? Can you hear me now? Is this better? Sorry, I'll move it near. So, yeah, so I used to think to myself, I can't do this. And I couldn't sleep. And yeah, I was so nervous. Do you know, like when your mouth goes so dry that you can't actually talk? This is what was going on for me. So can you believe it now? You know, completely different. And it's because you just change the way that you think. You change the way that you think. Now I could stand in front of all of those people and talk. I could do it. Before, I couldn't. So the difference, what was the difference? Brilliant. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad you can hear me. I just wasn't sure. The difference was self-belief. It was just like, I used to just look at these people, like when, you know, when you used to have like the trainers or the people, you know, like people that used to give talks, you know, like especially like on TED Talks or anything like that. That's the next thing. I really want to go on a TED Talk. Anyway, I used to think, how can these people do it? How can they engage an audience? But the difference was because they believe in themselves. They believe in the content that they were talking about. And that is the difference, guys. It's the belief in yourself. It's the connection to yourself. And that is what is important. That is how you get over this. This is how you get past this. This is how you heal. Because everything that was taken away from you can now be returned. You return it back to you. Because you matter. You're important. Doesn't matter if the narcissist is watching you. So what? Who cares? Like, oh my gosh. Who cares if they're watching you? It doesn't matter. They're only trying to do it to intimidate you, to make you feel like you're scared, like they matter. Who cares? It doesn't matter. They're not important. Like, who are they anyway? Seriously, like, who are they? So they do this because they want to affect you. So when you say no to that, emotionally, psychologically, you push that away. Enough's enough. It's done. You just have to stop caring. That's what it is. It's the detachment. And I know it's easier said than done, but believe me, it happened to me too. And I'm obviously on a public platform. You know where I'm going with this. I can't obviously say much more, but yeah, it's just don't care. That's how you have to get to a point where you just detach from this, because it doesn't mean anything. They're not important. If you really think about what they have done, how they have treated you, how they have made you feel, like honestly, just one more minute thinking about them, worrying that they're watching you, worrying that they're going to turn up in front of you, worried that they're going to drive by. Who cares? That's right, Cherie. You take your power back. And the way that you take your power back is if you detach. Detachment is taking your own power back. That is leveling up. Detaching from someone. Because when you detach, you're not expecting an outcome. You're not expecting anything. Because when you expect something from someone, you're expecting a certain outcome, which is what they do. Remember what we used to say? It's what they want. They will manipulate because they want control. But when you have control, when you're wanting to control someone, things rarely turn out the way that you want them to, because you're going against the natural order of things. You can't control people. You can't make people do something or say something. People are who they are. And that's it. They want to control because they're not secure in themselves. They don't have that connection. So when you control others, it makes them feel good. But again, like what I was saying, they don't understand that people have free will. And we all have free will. You've just got to let people live their life like that with free will. Oh, thank you very much, Martina. I'd love to do a TED Talk. I will. I will do it. It will happen. That's right, Joshua. When you take your power back, it is game over. 100%. So really, this is about you figuring out what it is that you want from your life, going for it, making it happen, and not worrying about anybody else. You know, it's your birthright to actually live the life that you desire, live your best life. Thank you very much, the guy next door. Thank you. Do you agree that a lot of social media influencers are teaching youngsters to behave like narcissists? It seems like young people's entitlement and delusion has gone through the roof. Do you know what? Yes, I do. You know, the thing is with social media influencers do have a lot of power over this. And I think a lot for influencers, it's about selling a product. It's about selling a certain lifestyle. A lot of them have designer, beautiful homes, you know, amazing cars at such a young age. But none of that is actually real. And a lot of young people aspire to that, thinking that that is the norm, that that is the life that they desire. And I'm glad you asked this. This is a really good question, the guy next door. So yes, they do become quite narcissistic in the way that they approach this situation. What they don't understand is that it is fake, that it is just a snippet of reality. And I can say that because being an influencer myself, like I understand, like even things that you post, things that you share with the world, those are just snippets of time. And you know how many times you have to film the same thing over and over. It's also rehearsed. So like, for example, when I post stories, sometimes you have to do it a few times, or like the videos for YouTube, you kind of have to say it a few times. Sorry, I was just reading the comment there. Sean, oh my God, have you been watching Andrew Tate's channel? No, I haven't. I've watched a little bit, but no, I haven't. But yes, so it's just a snippet of time that these influencers are showing, and I completely get it, because it's not a real representation of reality. They might not even live in those homes. They might just be placed as product placement. So yes, it is showing the wrong side of life. Like, it's not true, it's not real. But I think a lot of people, when you're young, you see that it looks good to have, you know, like the designer, to have, you know, the fancy car or the location and holidays and things like that. So 100%, there is a rise of this in society. I do think there is a rise of narcissism in society. I think it's been orchestrated that way to be done, especially. I really do. Again, with narcissism, this disconnection from self, disconnection from everybody else. Your attitude is completely different. So I do believe that this is done on purpose. And I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to go into it even more because I can't talk about these things, unfortunately. So, yeah, you're right, Joshua. They live in a bubble of materialistic things, definitely. So, yeah. How are you going to, going back to what I was saying, is that it's about you. It's about how you make your life worthwhile for you. You've only got one. So I know that I remember when I was doing the polls on Sunday, a lot this subject, why the narcissist is always watching you, just slightly, very, very slightly overtook the other one that was talking about anxiety. So what I will do is I'll talk a little bit about anxiety and how to kind of cope and how to manage anxiety. But before I do, guys, hit that like button. You know, you'll be doing a lot for me because you're supporting me. You know, now I'm full-time on YouTube and I am here dedicated to helping you guys. So if you have a question, you know, like super thanks is also really appreciated too. Thank you for all of you for being here. And for those of you who have kind of donated already, I really appreciate that. But hit the like button. It's free. And it really, really helps me. Oh, I like that. That rhymes. Did you like that, guys? So, anxiety. It's really uncomfortable, isn't it? That's what I can say about anxiety. But you know that the majority of people, like I would say 95% of people have anxiety. How bad is that? Do you know, maybe before the C thing happened, I can't say the word, the C thing, the illness happened, I think there was a lot of it around, anxiety, that is. But I think there's more of it around now. I think that a lot of people experience it on a more intense level. But looking at what these experiences have been for you guys and what you have gone through, of course you're going to experience anxiety after narcissistic abuse, after these experiences. It leaves you damaged. It leaves you not trusting yourself. It leaves you disconnected from yourself. It leaves you doubting yourself and others. And I think the worst of it is that you can't sleep, you can't eat. But with anxiety, and I'm really sad to say this, you're never going to get rid of it. You can manage it. I'd be lying if I was to sit here and say, yeah, you can get rid of anxiety. You can't. You can manage it. And that's the key here. This isn't about getting rid of it. Just manage. So things that you can do that will help you is, again, connection to self, talking to yourself, believing in yourself, being kind, being positive to yourself. That is what is going to help you. You know, I do suffer from anxiety sometimes, but not badly. I used to before. But obviously, like, you get to know how to cope with it. So I know the certain things that trigger me, and that is the key here. It's about knowing your triggers, knowing what makes you feel a certain way. So you think, what can I do to help me? What can I do to help myself? Because that's the way you got to think. It's not about, like I said, it's not about getting rid of it. It's like, what can I do to help myself? So this is something that you have to consider, like things that you have to do on a daily basis. Just because you're feeling good, just because things are going okay, doesn't mean that you've got to stop. Are you eating properly? Are you eating 2 or 3 meals a day? Are you sleeping? Do you know what also really helps is certain foods for anxiety, intermittent fasting. This will really help. Journaling, writing things down so that you're not constantly overthinking. Thank you so much, Desireen. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Are you constantly overthinking? If you're someone who is an overthinker, you stay up at night worrying and worrying and overthinking, write it down. It's the only thing that actually helps to stop, because what you're doing is you're emptying your mind. So it's not in your mind. You're not ruminating over and over in your head. You're writing it down, and it's there. It's released from your mind and it's there on paper. Journaling. Again, journaling is another thing that will really help. Thank you so much, Free Falling. Thank you for being here. Journaling really helps. Join my journal club. If you have nothing that you want to journal, join the journal club, because every Monday I give you prompts. Like I said, this one on Monday was about self-sabotage and what we do. And Sarah says, I connect by fasting. Yeah, fasting is so good. It really helps. I do this. I honestly do. Otherwise, I don't ever say, or I don't suggest things that I haven't done myself already. But yeah, fasting, oh my God, it's amazing. It's really, really good. And it really helps with focus and with clarity. It really does. And eating certain foods. I know that, like bone broth, like chicken bone broth or beef broth. I know like some of you are vegan and don't eat meat. I don't know what the alternative is, and I don't want to say, just in case I get it wrong. And I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to give you the wrong information. But yeah, like bone broth really, really helps. Again, sorry to plug this, but in the mentorship, this is the kind of things that I do talk about. I do have friends who are nutritionists who do give advice and who do kind of advise me. So it's not something that I am making up. I'm not a nutritionist, so I can't say this 100%, but I do know that bone broth really helps with anxiety. It really helps with the nervous system because it's got collagen in it, and collagen is really, really good. It's got protein, and it really helps with the immune system too. And this is something that you have to also think about is, are you getting the right nutrients in food? Because it's fine eating certain foods, it's fine doing certain things, but there's certain things that can cause anxiety even more. Like, for example, caffeine. If you're drinking coffee, and I know sometimes that I have drunk too much coffee, it really makes you like, ugh, doesn't it? Yes, mushrooms, chestnut or reishi mushrooms are really good. I remember I bought reishi tea for my dad because he was a bit too highly strung. He was shouting at me too much. So I bought him tea, reishi mushroom tea, and it calmed him down. It's all right. He didn't really like it. So I said, put some honey in it, Dad. And he was like, oh, okay, I will. And he did, and calmed him down. So now I have to buy this tea for him most weeks, but it's fine. But yeah, food, the food that you eat, like green food. Like I have a juicer, which is absolute pain to clean. It really is. Like, it really annoys me. There's not many things that annoy me, but this thing does, because it's so hard. It's so intricate. Anyway, we're going off topic here. Juices are really good. I remember when I was in Greece, there was this amazing shop. It was this mother and daughter, and they made the most amazing juices. I think I must have had about like 3 a day. But just and then they had these beautiful salads as well. So I was eating in there all the time. Anyway, you can make this yourself. You can pre-pack it, like make it ahead, and like eat it when if you're, especially like if you're going to work or whatever. But look, this is ultimately about you trying to heal your nervous system, because when it is overstimulated, which is what happens in anxiety, it makes it really difficult to control it. Like when you're having an episode, when you're in that anxiety and it's got you by its grip and it's really hard. Do there's certain things that could really help. Changing your environment, going for a walk, making your environment very nice. Like, for example, you could light some candles, you could listen to some music. And I know this is all really corny or very cliche, but it really does help, because you're changing the mood, you're changing the atmosphere, you're changing the energy in the room. Maybe go and see friends, like people who you love. Go and see your friends. Go out with them. Do something. Don't just stay in one place all the time, because that just makes it worse. Just staying in one place all the time in those four walls. I know that it's safe. I know that it keeps you safe. And I know that's why a lot of you want to stay indoors and not do much. But it's also not healthy to do that. You need to go out. You need to change, the atmosphere, or your surroundings, your environment. Also, if you stay in one room, it really makes it difficult for you to sleep. And sleep is very important. Sleep is a massive factor in anxiety. When you're experiencing anxiety and it's really bad, at the time, it makes it really difficult to try and control it, to try and get a hold over it. But this is why I say you've got to keep doing these practices all the time. You've got to all the time be eating healthy. You've got to all the time be sleeping well, because then this minimizes the anxiety. Something that really helps me with my anxiety is going to the gym. I don't do it for weight loss. I really don't. I do it because it really helps with focus, with clarity. And for me, it gives me a sense of achievement. Like when I've lifted that weight and my body is aching, and I know I'm a bit of a weirdo. I do like it when it aches. I do moan. But I like the feeling, because you've done something, you've achieved something. It makes you feel good. So for me, that's what the gym is. For me, the gym is healing. It's a release, like sometimes obviously doing work, speaking to people who, have gone through really sad things. And so going to the gym really helps me to release that energy so I don't keep it pent up. So I know that the gym isn't for everybody. For me, yes, I like lifting weights. That is my thing. Maybe for some of you, it could be yoga, perhaps maybe Pilates. Yoga is also really, really good for anxiety, for trauma. It helps to release, in those certain poses. I do yoga, but not as often as I should. That I do know. Oh, yes, lemon balm tea really helps. Yes, that's also really good. Really, really good. And there's certain things that you can take that will really help to calm the nervous system, because that's what anxiety is really like. If you think about it, it's an overstimulated nervous system, overstimulated adrenal system. So when these things are overwhelmed and overstrained, they're not going to be working the way that they should be, which is when we have anxiety, we know that something's not right, something's wrong. Something's not working properly for us. So we need to inquire enough, connect to ourselves, and understand what our body is trying to tell us. Because we're not just our mind and our body, and that's separate. No, we're connected. Our mind, body, and our spirit, that is all connected. We're a one whole system. I know that the medical model likes us to believe that we are separate, but we're not. We are a whole system. Mind, body, and spirit. So we have to use all of those things, our physical, our cognitive, our spiritual, to heal us. One thing doesn't work if you're not doing the other. So it's really important that you are getting enough sleep. It's really important that you're going at the right time to sleep, because your circadian rhythm is going to be affected. And this is another thing. For those of you that don't know what circadian rhythm is, it's the way that our body functions at different times of the day. So for example, in the morning, our body is quite awake because it should have had a restful sleep. I know for a lot of us that doesn't happen. But for those of us that do, you would have had like a long time of rest and sleep. Your body has rejuvenated itself. So then at that point, it's like, yeah, we're ready to go. So that is what's happening in the morning. And then you need to fuel that, don't you? You need to have breakfast, you need to fuel it. And then by the afternoon, it's kind of like, on a different rhythm. It's doing something else. It's working harder. And I find, I don't know about you guys, but I find that from the hours of like 1 till 3, I can't do any work. My mind is just somewhere else. Like I can't do any work. Usually at that time, I will be having a nap. Oh, yes, my friends. I will be having a nap usually on the sofa, and it will be half an hour. Or maybe I go to the gym at that time. But for whatever reason, I just cannot work. And this is why I don't book clients in at that time, because I know that my mind just is not working. So I don't know, something is happening with my circadian rhythm. Then from 3 o'clock onwards, I'm like, fine. It's like, yes, let's go again. So I think from 12 till 3, then your body's working in a different way. And then from 3 till 6, it's working again. It's working at a different pace. And then from 6 o'clock onwards, it's all about wind down. So if you think about it, and also just wanted to say, we really, in order for us to get optimal sleep, we should be going to bed or around or before 10 p.m. I know that a lot of us don't do that, including myself. I'm usually falling asleep about 11:30, just before 12, which again is a bit too late. Really, we should be going to sleep before 10. And this is where our body is working at a different pace. So we kind of have to work with our body's rhythm. That's what we have to do, because this helps to minimize anxiety as well. This really helps to calm your nervous system down. Also, going for walks, going out into nature. Nature is a natural healer. Whether that's going by the beach, which I wish I could, but I don't have a beach near me. I've got woods, forests, but not beaches. And I love the sound of the water or of the sea, because it's just so calming. But anyway, just going out into nature. When you're out in nature, it's got negative ions, in the air, on the ground, and that helps to ground. Walking barefoot is another thing. Obviously not now. I would not do it now. There is no way in the UK that I would be walking barefoot on the grass. But for those of you who live in sunnier climates, warmer climates, that really helps. That really, really does help. It has negative ions. Sometimes even like touching the trees. I hug trees as well. So I don't make it a secret. I do hug trees. They have this, I don't know, like you can feel this energy. I know I'm mad. I know. But I do like doing that. And it's the negative ions, which is natural, is what we need. It's the earth naturally produces that. And the more that you have that, the more grounding or grounded you feel. Yeah, try it. For those of you who can, try it. Walks are the best. It's getting that fresh air, and also the white noise, like listening to birds or listening to the sea, listening to the rolling waves. That's also really important, because that helps to calm the nervous system. It helps to calm the mind. When you're seeing a lot of green, and for those of you who work all the time, you're in front of the computer screen, and so you're seeing all these bright lights, your eyes do get damaged from that. It's too much light for the eyes. So really getting out into nature, really just resting, that is important. Take your pets out to the park, to the woods, by the sea, to the mountains, wherever you can. It is very healing. Just have a retreat, just for a few hours. And that is always really, really helpful. But these are the ways that you can, manage anxiety, calm your nervous system down. Because when your nervous system becomes overstimulated over and over again, it will quickly learn that this is the way that life should be. This is the way that it should feel. So that becomes a part of a norm. And can you see how bad that actually is? When your overstimulated nervous system thinks that it's the norm, you're constantly going to be in fight or flight. And the detrimental effects when you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode, because a lot of you have experienced it. Oh yes, magnesium baths. Yes, magnesium really helps as well. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, magnesium really helps. So I'm just reading your what everyone's saying. Switch to decaf coffee. Yeah, coffee really stimulates anxiety as well. Too much caffeine. So yeah, when you're in fight or flight, think about what is going on to your body at that point when you are experiencing fight or flight. Adrenaline, cortisol, the deadly two, that mix, that poison. It's a hormone that our body produces because it numbs everything, because we think we're in danger. And then the adrenaline gives us the rocket fuel to do something about it. But this has detrimental effects on our organs. And I know I've talked about this as well, where sometimes our organs, actually not sometimes, most of the time, our organs will become inflamed. And a lot of us think that we've put weight on, but actually it's not. It's water retention from our organs that have become overinflamed, enlarged, because they have been overworked, because of this cortisol and this adrenaline that our body produces to help us. It's great stuff when it is being produced, but it is a poison. And the body finds it very difficult to get rid of the cortisol, because if you think about it, it goes all the way around our system because it's in our bloodstream. And our blood supply goes all the way around our body into every single organ. And so that's how it gets affected. That's why when you have inflamed organs, it really shows up. Like, for example, sometimes people have inflamed liver, which is why, insulin, I was about to say, the insulin levels become irregular. And that's why you can get diabetes from this. From, for example, being around a narcissist, you can get diabetes because it's overstrain, adrenal system, the nervous system. This all counts to it, like unhealthy lifestyle, not looking after yourself. Can you see how all of this is linked? This is why I keep saying it to you guys, that it's not just a one-time thing. Like for 1 month you'll eat well, you'll sleep well, and then you won't experience anxiety. Of course you won't. You won't that month. But what about the next month, and the next month after that, and then the other month after that? It's a lifestyle change. You can't just do it once. Because what's the alternative? You don't do it, but then later on, you're going to feel the effects. Because your body has been in stress, in anxiety, being overworked, being with a narcissist, being in a toxic relationship. This is what happens. A lot of you maybe had drunk alcohol or were smoking cigarettes and other stuff, which is fine. There's no judgment, to cope with what was going on. But that's what I mean. Now you can do something about it. And this is why I say, don't worry if they're watching you. You concentrate on yourself, because this is your life, not their life, not what they're telling you to do. Doesn't matter what they're doing. Let them get on with it. You see what's happening to them. You see how they are. You got to think about yourself. You got to keep pushing on with your life, because it is your life and you only have one life, and it's yours, and you deserve to live the best one that you can. So the first thing, if you're going to make changes in your life, you have to start with yourself. You can't be looking back and thinking, oh, but I love this person. I really wish we could change. What are you doing? This person isn't going to change. They're never going to change. Why are you even thinking about this person? Just let them go. It's never going to get any better. If you're always looking back, you're looking back behind, you're never going to see what's in front of you, what's going forward. Because you can't make changes if you're constantly looking back and wishing for something that is never going to happen. Yeah, this person will come back. Sure, granted, this is why they're watching you. Of course they'll come back. But what are you actually doing? What are you doing? You're going to invite this person what, for more abuse? This is about making smart choices for your life. This is about acceptance and detachment. We have to accept that these people are not okay, that these people are toxic, that whatever they're doing, that they're not going to change it. And they have, done so much damage on so many levels that you now have to fix yourself because of what they have done. But that is the thing. You have to make that promise to yourself and think, right, I'm done. I'm not worrying about what's happened in the past. Doesn't matter what they've done. Doesn't matter how many people they've slept with. Whatever's happened. Done. Draw a line. Cross that bridge and then concentrate on yourself. Because you're not here to fix them. You're not here to figure them out. You already know they're toxic by what they have done to you, by what they keep doing, by watching you. You already know that. So why are you looking for more answers? This is about acceptance. This is about you doing something about it for you. So this is about, going out there, trying to calm your nervous system down. Yes, you might not see a result after one day, but you got to keep at it. You got to keep going, because your body's not just going to just suddenly, go into a different mode. It's something that you got to keep practicing, something that you got to keep doing, and it will happen over time. And the more, and another thing is you've got to change the way that you think about them. I know they're going to pop into your mind. I know you're going to be like secretly like thinking, oh, I wonder what they're doing. Of course you are. You're human. This is what we do. But how can you change that narrative? What you got to do is you got to think, okay, I'm not worried about what they're doing. I don't care what they're doing. I care about me. I choose me. So just say like an affirmation or something that is going to stop you from overindulging in these thoughts, because our brain will do that. The more that you allow this to happen, the more that it allows you to overthink and ruminate, think about this person, why, what if, maybe if this, then what you're doing, remember your brain is a muscle. And the more that you indulge it and allow it to run wild, the more you're going to be thinking about this in the future. And you're bringing more and more of it into your daily existence. So your daily existence, your daily thoughts are going to be about thinking about this person. It's like what I said, so what? So what about them? Who cares? They're not in your life now. It's done. What's happened. It's done. Move on. Move forward. Choose you. Choose life. Being with them, you're literally killing yourself. Can't change it. I know what they did was really bad. I know what they did was really bad and unforgivable. But this isn't about, revenge and all of this stuff. And I've done videos about this, haven't I? We've talked about this. The best revenge on a narcissist. No contact. Done. Detachment. That's what no contact is. It's detachment. But they can't do that for you, can they? Because they're still watching. They're still trying to find out what you're doing. Rise above that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're doing that. Let them watch. Who cares? They're going to keep watching because they're going to watch you. Because you're interesting. You're good looking or you're pretty. You're interesting to watch. They want to know what you're doing. But so what? They're not in your life now. They're gone. Good. Because now you can have your life back and concentrate on yourself. All that energy that you were giving to them, trying to make it work, trying to make them feel happy, trying to make, trying to give them the world, trying to give them money. I don't know. Whatever it was, you tried your best. And even that didn't work. So give that to yourself instead, because you're going to appreciate it. You are not going to let yourself down. So what about who they are, what they've done? Just let it go, leave it in the past and concentrate on yourself. Because this is your life. And your life isn't about fixing them or trying to figure it out. Do you know, sometimes I wish I could put this in a different context, like a bit more raw. And obviously I can't swear on here. I really wish I could, but I'm trying to keep this as friendly as possible. But honestly, you shouldn't give an F about them. They're not important. What you should be caring about is yourself. And trying to heal your anxiety so you don't keep feeling anxious over and over again. That's right, Arthur. Think and be proactive. Choose life. Choose yourself. That's right. Thank you, Red Eye. Yeah, this is what happens. They just take so much. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's a joke what they do. It really is a joke. And again, look, I'm not here to bash the narcissist, because that's not what this is about. It's just understanding that they've taken too much already. They're doing this because of their own trauma. And it's kind of like an expectation for you to try and heal them. But the funny thing is, you're not getting paid for it. Anyway, look, it's not your responsibility. What I'm trying to say is not your responsibility. This is coming from a hurt person who hurts people. Like, hurt people hurt people. Okay, and it's true what that saying says. It's what they do. Because of their own insecurity, their own thing, but they don't let anyone in. They're disconnected. And this is what I keep going back to, the connection to yourself, because that is what is important. Connecting to you and knowing you. Look, if you stay disconnected, you're going to be like them. You know, like, they don't know who they are. They just pretend, they just take on somebody else's identity, and they do what someone else does. Why? They don't even know themselves. They don't even know what they want from their life. That's right, Arthur. Love yourself. Get to know you. Get Ghostbusters. Oh my God, I remember that film. That's so old. But yeah, look, you know, you have to do what is right for you. Do what, you know, like, you've got to make your life happen for you. And how do you level up? How do you make that happen? You know, a year from now, who are you going to be? 6 months from now, who are you going to be? If you put all these practices in place and you do them every single day, who are you going to be in a year's time? Each and every one of us have different needs and different wants. Some of us want to level up financially. You can do that. 6 months from now, you can do that. Some of you want to level up emotionally. Again, you can do that. You got to do the work, though. It's not going to come for free. No one's going to hand it to you on a plate. You got to work for it. And yeah, it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But when you get to the other side, then you'll know. Then you will know. Look, like I said, I never wanted to do half of the things. I never thought I'd be here on YouTube. I really honestly didn't. This is not what I had, you know, envisaged. But I love it. I love what I do. I don't even see this as a job. It's not. I really enjoy it. I love the fact that I can help. And that is why I do it. That is what I love about it, is that I can help. And that's what gives me the motivation. Buddy H, get the Exorcist priest onto them. Don't, that film. Oh my God, that film. I think that was one of the most scariest films I have ever seen. I think that one, The Omen, and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I cannot watch them. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. That's a really good idea, Paula. Take yourself on a date. That is the best thing. When you do something for you that makes you feel good. That. I love that. Thank you, Paula. Take yourself on a date. Yes. That is wonderful. Because you care about you. You're going to treat you how you want to be treated. it's important, again, to connect to you, to understand what it is that you want to do, understand what you want from your life, and be your own best friend. Because when you're taking time out and thinking about you, which you should anyway, I know this is going to feel maybe a little bit strange at first. Maybe you're going to feel like, why am I doing this? This feels really weird. I've never done this before. Of course it's going to feel weird because you've not done it before, and your mind is always going to go back to what is comfortable, to what it knows. It's just the way our brain works. Is that what I always say? If you want to create a habit, it takes 21 days to create a habit, to make it stick. The first few days are going to be strange. The first few days are going to be, they're going to seem weird. But you've got to keep practicing it over and over and over. That's what you've got to do. And so that is what is going to make it work. And that's what you've got to keep doing. It's about the dedication to you. It's about really choosing you and working on that. That is what's important. Do you know another thing that would really help with anxiety? And I haven't tried this before, and I don't know if I would. I want to, but I really don't know, is cold baths. When you live in a cold country, the last thing that you would want to do is like cold baths or ice baths. I think that for me would probably be a shock to the system. But I know that that really helps. I remember, this is another story, sorry. Guys, you're getting all the stories this week. All right, when I was younger, we used to go to Poland to see my uncle. And near his house, he had a summer house. So he lived in the town, but he had a summer house. And we used to always go to the summer house. And it was a beautiful summer house in this like pine forest, and it smelled so beautiful. But in this pine forest, there was this lake. And we used to go like, probably like, when it was the school holiday. So it was like June, July, August, and July, August, September. So we would stay until September. And by September, it was starting to get a little bit cold, especially because we used to go in the mornings and the evenings to go for a swim. And so when we used to go swimming in the lake, they used to take my breath away. But I know it's quite invigorating. I know that it's quite amazing. I don't know those of you who are from Sweden or the Scandinavian countries or Iceland, I don't know, or Canada even, because I know it is so cold in the winter, but ice baths, I don't know. Yes, Sarah, this is a real true story, that this is what happened. I don't know why I'm telling all these stories this week. Don't know, they're just coming to my mind. But look, I know that really works. I know that it actually also calms the nervous system down, actually. The cold baths, ice baths, not cold baths, ice baths. So I know that really works. So yeah, I don't know if any of you have ever tried it. I haven't, so I don't know. But for me, it already makes me feel cold even thinking about it. So those are the kind of things that you could do for yourself that will help you, manage anxiety. Remember that this is something that you need to keep doing, like on a daily basis, obviously not the ice baths, but this is something that needs to be done, like on a daily basis, something that will really help you to, like make you feel good, make you feel connect back to your body, because a lot of it is taken away, like the control on how you feel. You're told how to feel, you're told how to think. I know that for a lot of you, this has been taken away. And so really this is about making that promise to yourself to really understand what it is that you want, what it is that you are working towards, what it is that you are wanting to achieve. Where do you want to go in your life? Not worrying about what's happened in the past, not worrying about, other people. Not worrying about if someone else is doing something different to you, not worrying about where they are and you're there. It's not about comparing. It's about concentrating on you and working towards your goal, working towards that target, working towards something that you want in your life. Because when we start to worry, when we start to overthink, we start to compare. We start to think that our life isn't the same as everybody else's. Sure, like we all have experiences in our life. Some are worse than others at that time, but we mustn't compare because everybody has different set of experience. Nobody has any better. No one has it all. No one has it like the best and perfect, because that's not how life works. There are ups and downs. There are going to be good days. There are going to be bad days. But if you're committed to your healing, if you're committed to your journey, then it doesn't matter if that person is watching you. It doesn't matter if they're getting in contact and they're wanting something from you. You know what you need to do because you know what you need to do to stay on track. Because the more that you let these people into your life and ruin, destabilize, the more it takes away from you, the more that it takes away from your life, the more you become disorientated and confused with what you want, because they just take over and tell you what it is that they want you to do. These are not relationships. These are interactions with these people. These people have a distorted way of seeing things because of their experiences, because of that trauma that they had. But it doesn't mean what they experienced has to be your experience, or you have to take on that experience or that healing. This is your life. This is what you choose. Because that's what it is. Life is a choice. You do make choices. So do you choose life or death? Because really, it is as simple as that. Do you choose to become an emotional slave for someone, or do you choose your own life, having, what it is that you want? You can't give yourself excuses. You got to keep pushing forward. Life isn't as long as we think it is. And in a blink of an eyelid, it's gone, and we're at a different stage. So choose yourselves. Choose you. Put these practices in place. Learn to value yourself. Learn to put boundaries in place. Like if somebody is saying or doing something and you don't agree with it, or you don't feel it's okay, then put boundaries in place. But this is all protection. That's all that boundaries are. It's just all about protecting you. When you're connected to yourself, you know how you feel. Because you value what you feel. You stick up for yourself. You are aware of what you are feeling. So that's when you can make the right choices for you. But again, if you're going to connect to yourself, you have to do these practices all the time. You have to do these practices continuously, because otherwise you lose who you are. You lose yourself to other people. And that's not fair on you. That's right, you're not their punching bag. That's also very true, Arthur. Nothing evolves us like love. You do that, Sean, you have a banana bedtime snack. No worries. So guys, I'm going to end this live stream really soon. So if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat. Yeah, it makes it really hard when someone's, when it's a family member, because it's hard to detach. But ultimately, it's the same thing, because it's the same treatment. You do have to detach. You do have to think about yourself. You do have to put yourself first. You do have to think of you, because that is what's important. No, actually, narcissistic relationships don't ever work out. It's funny that, isn't it? It's funny that all these toxic relationships that, like after all the years that I've been doing this, I've never known one relationship, just one. Thank you so much, Desireen. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Um, yeah, like there's never been, bless you, I appreciate that. There's never been like one relationship that has ever worked out. Like I've never known one of them to ever work out and it be okay, where both parties are happy, and they're getting on with their life. It doesn't work like that. It's funny that, isn't it? It's funny, no matter how much effort, how much time, how much energy, how much kindness, how much love you put into these relationships with this person, how many times you take them back and you forgive them for what they have done, and they said that they will never do this again and things will be different and that they will change. And bang, there it is again. They never change. They don't. They have no intention of changing. They want you to change, yeah, but they don't change at all. So, look at the facts, look at this. It doesn't matter what you do for this person. It doesn't matter that they're watching you. It doesn't matter that they're contacting you. It doesn't matter that they're asking you back. Nothing is going to change them. You are still going to have the same experience with them, the same relationship. Like, it doesn't change. They are not people who want to change because they're getting their needs met. They know what they know what they want. They know what they need. So they're not going to change. So, like I said, you have to accept that and you have to move forwards in your life. I know you're empathetic people. I know you're kind, compassionate people, and it goes against, like your beliefs and, what you normally would do. But honestly, you have to think of yourself here. You have to think about what works for you, what is going to be right for you. And this will always help you in every single way. So choose you, choose your life, and move forward. And guys, I'm going to end it there. Thank you to each and every one of you who have joined me on this live session today. It's been amazing. And next week, I'm going to change the date. I'm going to change it to Monday. So it's not going to be on a Tuesday. It's going to be on the Monday. I can't do next Tuesday. So I'm going to do it next Monday. So the poll will be out on Saturday. It'll be out on Saturday. So just make your choice of what it is which topic you would want me to talk about on a Monday. But guys, Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. And I hope that this information has helped. Remember, choose you. Do this for you. Forget about them. They're insignificant. It's done. And have a great week, everybody. And I will see you next Monday. Bye.